everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my sewing room. Today I'm super excited because I went shopping on eBay again and I bought another new antique bodice. So I decided what better way to share it with you than to actually open up the package on camera for you, and we're both going to discover together what I bought and how it's made and what it looks like and everything together. Now, all I know so far is from the listing, this looked like an 1890s bodice. So that's about all I know. It's slightly breaking my rule of not purchasing black garments because I have too many of them, but it should also have pink on it. So I figured, why don't we open up the package together and find out what it looks like. This was sealed in 2 additional boxes, which I've already opened, and I did check inside to make sure that that's what I am actually opening, but I have not looked at it otherwise. I can see where the bodice is, so I am not cutting anywhere near it. Ooh, it's got a waist stay. That's all I can see so far. Okay, we're going to very carefully take this out. There we go. Oh no. Well, okay, it has beading on the bodice, but at least 2 of the beads are in the mailing envelope. So I'm going to try to save these little beads. I'll put those off to the side. Okay, that's all that was in there. All right, let's take a look at this bodice. Here we go. This is as it is coming out of the package. Trying to do this very delicately. It's definitely got a lot of wear on these cuffs here, which are lovely pink silk, but quite worn and quite dirty also, which is interesting. I love the texture on this fabric. It's so fascinating. I'm not really sure if this is a brocade or what, but it's just lovely. It's definitely come from a house with cigarette smoke, unfortunately, because this thing does not smell good. So that is really a shame. But so I'm going to have to figure out how to store it because I don't want my other bodices to smell like cigarette smoke. So what I might do is put it on my dress form for a while and see if any of the smoke smell will dissipate, because it's pretty rank currently, which is again really unfortunate. Oh, this is very interesting over here. I'm not sure. Oh, this is the closure. Oh, look at this funky cool closure. Oh, and here I thought it was just a weird sleeve thing. No, that's really cool. So this is the closure. So it comes over here fully to the side, wrapping all the way to the side with hooks and bars. Or at least I assume there's bars. I don't see them yet. Oh, they're thread wrapped bars. So they blend so nicely in. But yeah, it's coming all the way over here. Wow, this really smells like cigarettes. Okay. And so we have a whole separate front, and look at that. So we've got two sets of hooks and eyes. We've got the set here with this inner panel. This is the eyes that go with it. And then we've got this set here, which is the outer set and just closes under the arm, so it's much shorter, whereas this is the center front here. I love the fabric for the lining too. It's a lovely, I think it's a polished cotton. Yeah, that's a polished cotton, but it's a lovely print. So that's so nice. Got a lot of discoloration on these bones, particularly the front ones. The back ones aren't as bad. So I wonder if this got wet at some point. The neckline fabric here, the collar lining, is a much rougher cotton. I wouldn't even call it polished, actually. And it also looks like it has some water damage maybe, or some staining there. But yeah, I would say most of these bones have kind of rusted through, so probably there was some sort of water. Got a huge skirt hook here to hold the bodice down to the skirt. I wish that there were more extant skirts around so that we could see how these went together, because I haven't actually had one that I could see. Look at that. They've done a nice binding job here on the arm's eye. So that's nice. And actually this seam here too, these are all treated with some silk binding, which is interesting because the center back seam is actually flat felled. And this appears at least partially to be hand sewn. Either that or they were not sewing straight lines on their machine. And they did a nice job. I wonder if there's a bone. Oh, there's not a bone in here. So this tape that is, I think, just covering where the hooks are, is stitched down in a very similar manner to how the bones are stitched down. So that's really cool to see. We have a waist stay tape here, which has a pin in it. I don't know, maybe they only ever just pinned it shut. There doesn't seem to be evidence of a hook or a bar on there. So I'm guessing that they probably just put the tape in and then pinned it shut on themselves. But we have that tape. And what I think is also quite interesting here is that the bodice front, where the other side laps over, is not this cool brocade. It is actually just cotton. This is a polished cotton, black polished cotton. And you can see all of the stitch lines and boning right through there, which is pretty interesting. I think these are actually from the dart. Oh, because of the flat felling. So that's what we're seeing through. They flat felled the darts, and so we're seeing the stitches of that through, and then also the boning. So they didn't care because it wasn't going to be seen. It was going to be covered over with the brocade anyway. And you have such an interesting shape of where they decided to make the brocade go to, which I think is pretty fascinating. I did see a little peek of the cotton. Granted it wasn't hooked closed, but I did see a little peek because there's no hooks right in this line, which is really interesting. So it's just staying shut because it fits, basically. And it goes all the way up to the collar there. Now, I'm not seeing... There are hooks on this side of the collar, but I'm not seeing any actually on that side. Any bars, thread or otherwise. So, let's see. We've got the shoulder here. There we go. So there's the thread bars on the bodice. We've just got two right there for the top of the shoulder closure, but I'm not seeing any on the collar. So editing Rebecca here, I'm pretty sure right next to my thumb, those are the thread bars that I was looking for. But we're getting a nice close-up look of all these gorgeous spangles and beads as well. This is really quite beautifully decorated. And really, this is more turn of the century than 1890s, based on this sleeve size. It's quite a fitted sleeve, actually, even through the upper arm into the shoulder. We have that high collar, so I would put this probably right around the turn of the century, since there's no pigeon front or anything on it either. So I find it very interesting here on the sleeves that we have all of this beading in here, but we also have this pink facing that matches the neckline treatment. And it would almost seem to me like it's supposed to be worn with the pink up because it is so decorative, but then you wouldn't be able to see some of the beading. So I'm not really sure. I don't want to really bend it or try to do anything with it because this is the only place where the silk is actually shattering. And so I want to be really nice and gentle with this cuff. But it is very interesting that they have hidden beading within the cuff that you wouldn't really get to see with the cuff folded up like that. I decided I would try to stick this bodice on my dress form, my small dress form, just to see if I can put it out for a while and get that smoke smell to dissipate. But I think I'm going to have to finally do what I've been needing to do with this dress form for quite some time and chop off the shoulders, because obviously this bodice is not remotely fitting on the dress form because the shoulders on my dress form are just ridiculously large. So I've been needing to do that for a while, and I guess this will be my next quarantine project, is chopping off the shoulders on my dress form so that I can get this nice little bodice to sit on here and air for a while, because literally I can't even get my face close to it. It smells that heavily of cigarette smoke. And I really think that the seller should have disclosed that, because I don't know that I would have purchased it had I known. But luckily it's still in good condition despite the smell. Really the cuffs and kind of this area right here on the collar, as well as some loose beads, but that's to be expected. They're really the only areas of damage. So now there is shattering to the silk underneath the mesh here. You can see just a little bit of it probably through there, which is unfortunate, and that's why I'm trying to make sure there's no strain put on this at all. But it's actually quite well contained, the shattering, because it is backed with at least one, if not two layers, honestly, from the interior, and then it has the mesh over the front, the beaded mesh, which the beading in the mesh is in actually quite good condition. So it's really nice that it's all protected. I love these little shoulder flaps over here too, which again have the pink silk on the inside and the beading on the outside. I think it's such a cute little detail. And that's one of the things that puts this, I'd say probably right at around the turn of the century for me, because that's almost seems like a holdover from the 1890s. But it's really quite interestingly done. And here's a nice view of the back of the bodice, which we have more of the beaded trim that goes all the way around the bodice as well. And again on the shoulders like we were just looking at. And we have that nice silk all through the back also underneath the beading. I just wanted to try and show you that closure once again, now that I know a little bit better how it works, because again, it comes all the way to the side over here, so you get that nice sort of ruched pleated look up in the front, and it's not interrupted by any closures. And then it's on the side, literally underneath the arm, is where we have the actual closure with the hooks and bars in this case. And then that opens up. It's a really thick, interesting looking edge here that goes all the way up the shoulder and it goes over the little lap of the little shoulder flap, and then closes up right on top of the shoulder with a couple of thread covered bars, and then finally closes up with those hooks and bars on the collar, all of them being thread wrapped bars, so they hide very nicely. That is this really nifty bodice. So I'm quite pleased with it. Hopefully I'll be able to air it out, because right now I'm not going to be able to store it with my other garments, so that smell does not carry, which is quite unfortunate. So hopefully you enjoyed today's bodice exploration / unboxing of my eBay purchase. Overall, I'm quite pleased with it, though hopefully we can get that smell to go away, because it's really very powerful right now. But otherwise, it's in pretty good condition. We do have the shattering of the silk on the neckline and the cuffs, and a little bit underneath the arm flaps, but shoulder flaps. But overall, I think it's quite pretty, and the beading is really quite exquisite. And the fabric is something that I haven't seen before, a nice brocade of that texture and pattern. It's really quite beautiful and in good condition, which is really nice. Future Rebecca here again. I did not actually wind up keeping this bodice. After airing it out for a few days until I could get charcoal packets in from Amazon, and then using the charcoal packets while keeping it in an enclosed space, the smell did not go away at all. So unfortunately, this bodice did have to be returned. Luckily, the sender was amenable to that and was able to give me a full refund, including shipping, because they did not disclose the smell on the listing. But I was very sad to see this absolutely gorgeous bodice go. So again, this was really exciting because I got to share it with you right when I was seeing it for the first time. So if I do any more ordering, I will definitely do that, as long as it's something that you liked as well. So please drop me a comment below and let me know what you thought. If you like this sort of unboxing, or if you'd like me to learn about the garment first before I'm showing it to you. And also, if you did like this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to see more videos like this, again, this is part of a sort of monthly series that I am doing where I'm sharing all of my antique bodice and other antique garment collections. So if you do want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and make sure you hit subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time that I post a video. I do post videos once a week, but if you want to see more from me in the meantime, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And I post there every day with a lot of finished garment pictures and also a lot of in-progress pictures of whatever project I am currently working on. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. This has been a lot of fun, and I will see you in my next video. Happy sewing!